Which is great.
Okay, welcome everybody. It looks like it's about 7 o'clock. We'll get started here.
What is that?
Welcome to the May 2026 meeting of the Houston County Historical Society. If you would, please silence your phones, and we ask Mr. Kent Bell if he would lead us in the pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Matthew. There's also a sign-in sheet going around. If you could sign in on that, we'd appreciate it. Our next meeting is a joint meeting with the Stewart County and the Houston County Historical Society. Every other June, Stewart County and Houston County rotates hosting the other, and it's Stewart County's turn to host us. Now remember, their meeting is a different time. Let's see where theirs will be. It will be on the 23rd of June. It's on a Tuesday. And if you don't know where that is, we'll give you the address and everything, and we hope you can show up. They have a potluck type situation at 6 o'clock, and then at 6:45, 7 o'clock, then their meeting is there. If you're a member, we would like to ask you, if you're a member of Stewart County, as you're hosting Houston County, to bring something for the food. And Melissa, can you tell us about the speaker for that event?
Yes, the speaker for that meeting will be Kim Wallace-Staines. She's written a book recently that you can purchase. I've read the book, it's awesome, called The Sins of Men. And she is actually a volunteer at their archives. As while she was processing records, she ran across a court case in 1943 of a double murder of Grady and Rufine Cherry. And she read, as we do in archives work, we read the records that we're processing. And when she was reading that case, something just stood out to her was not right. So she spent 2 years researching the case, talking to many, many experts, and I'll just leave it at that. That's what the book's about. And so she's going to be talking about her book. She will have books for sale. If they're the same price as she's been selling them for, they'll be $20. You can also purchase it on Amazon and bring it with you. She'll sign them. But fascinating, fascinating story. And I also know that she's found another case in the 1960s that she's working on for her next book. So that's who's going to be the speaker.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. The meeting minutes, did everybody receive your minutes okay? Are you members? Were there any corrections, additions, deletions, any problem with the minutes? If there's no problem, we will deem the minutes approved. Treasurer's report, Leah, please.
We had just some interest income last month, and we paid for stamps and an eBay purchase that Melissa showed us, and we paid our insurance last month. So we have $2,750 in our checking account, our money market checking account. And the 2 CDs, we have just over $16,900 altogether with the money market and the 2 CDs. We still have balances of $235 in our artifacts allocation, and from our Kinder Morgan donation, the $318.
Is there a motion to approve Leah's minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All approved?
Aye.
Treasurer's report, please. Membership dues, of course it is, almost half the year is gone, but they are $10 per household per year or $50 per household for a lifetime membership. In old business, I guess we'll ask Donald to talk about the 2027 program that we're working on for the veterans next year.
Okay, we've had one meeting to start planning that,
And we're trying to look, the 2 dates we're looking at is either April 17th or April the 24th of next year, which will be 2027. Brenda's gonna check about having it at Griffin's Chapel. Probably the second choice, if we can't have it there, if the Armory's ready, we'd probably try and go out there to the Armory. We have information on probably close to 150 Korean veterans and probably over 400 Vietnam veterans, and that's newspaper clippings, articles, or something that was in the paper on that. So we're working on that, and we're gonna shoot for April next year. We'll be calling and asking for some help.
Okay, thank you, Donald. In new business, Glenn, will you tell us about the Memorial Day program, please?
Yeah, sure.
Monday, I think it's the 25th of May, is the...
31st.
Huh?
The 31st.
No, it's the 25th.
25th.
31st is the Sunday.
Put it on the
I already told you to correct it.
Oh, okay, okay, sorry.
Okay. The last Monday in May,
There you go.
up at the Armory, will be the Memorial Day service, this year hosted by the VFW. Last year it was held here, and it was standing room only. We hope y'all come out. It starts at 10. There's plenty of seating, but not so much parking, so, you know, there's lots of room, but, yeah. I don't know what Jeremy's got planned beyond, the honor guard's gonna be there, and fire the volley. Betsy's supposed to be there to play taps. On a side note, we have flags and lists of cemeteries and veterans. If you're interested or you want to participate with any of the placement of the flags prior to Memorial Day, let me know, or Leah, and we'll get you hooked up. We need volunteers, basically. So if you're interested, just give me a shout.
That's at 10 a.m.?
10 o'clock. The service starts at 10, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa, do you have an update on the archives?
Yes. Okay, archives has been real busy. We have been having lots of visitors come in and see all of our museum pieces. People are just seeing our sign and coming in, so it's been great. We've had lots of different donations, documents, photographs, artifacts, and people doing research. But I wanted to share one donation that we got in the mail. We got some fantastic photographs out of the blue, actually. And I'm going to tell you about this, and then it's also a cautionary tale. The photographs that we got are these. One of these is actually in the pictorial history book. The other one's not, but it's kind of the same people. It's actually a photograph of the 1930 Erin High School basketball team. These are original photographs. This one is in the pictorial history book. This one's not, but it looked like it was taken on the same day. They just did them differently. And those in the photograph are Howard Irwin, Ewing Richardson, George Griffin, Harold Roby, Aaron Walker, who was the coach, George Irwin, Bill Miles, Wilbur Lathan Settle, and Vernon Knight are in this photograph. So you can look at those. I'll put them up here. But I wanted to read the letter to you because it was very interesting how these came to us. It's from an Ernie Bailey, and Mr. Ernie Bailey, can't read with my glasses on. And Mr. Ernie Bailey is retired from the Special Collections and Archives Division of the Murray State Library System in the Murray State University. But this is what he says. He had actually talked to me a few weeks ago before he sent this. He says, we had talked briefly a few weeks about two photographs that I recently found while sorting through my great aunt's things. The photos are identified as the Erin basketball team of April 1930. They were professionally made, as is obvious from the quality as well as the arrangement of the subjects. I have no idea why my great aunt had these, but she had identified Lathan Settle as being in them. She went to Grove High School in Paris, then on to get a degree at Murray State College. While doing a bit of Ancestry.com research this morning, I did see one reference to the fact that at some point, Mr. Settle may have attended Murray State. So this may well account for how they knew each other. And then he goes on to tell me about Mr. Settle. Wilbur Lathan Settle was born in Houston County in 1910, died in Caldwell County, Kentucky in 1989, where he's buried. His father was William P. Settle, and his mother was Sarah Lou Evans Settle. So I thought it very interesting that he was going through his great aunt's things and found these photographs and dropped them in the mail to us. And so I know that you probably get tired of me telling you to look through your photographs, to look through your attics, your basements, your closets, your drawers. But this is why, because there are things sitting in our homes that have historical value. And I know that not everybody's ready to donate stuff, but if you are, that's what the archives is there for. To save our history, preserve our history, and share this history with the community. And so I wanted to share that story with you.
Is there anything anybody wants to talk about before we get to our program? I'll turn it over to Mr. Sid Vinson, and he has a packet. Do you want to make sure everybody has a packet before?
Yeah, I think Bert, Don will hand it out.
Okay, everybody got a packet?
Copies of some of the things I'm gonna talk about that you may not be able to see on this, but anyway, thank you all for having me tonight, and I hope I don't disappoint you, but I didn't come prepared for a big long program or anything. There's just a couple of things that I thought I knew that maybe not everybody else knows. I thought I'd probably be the oldest one here, and then I walked in and there's Gary Booker. and then Phil Brown and Kent Bell. Kent's one of the first people I ever knew. So anyway, no, how am I gonna find that? I gotta enter my, okay, never mind, I gotta log in here. Bear with me here. And Jamie Bobby taught me to make a real long password, so. Mr. Bobby back there can appreciate that. Okay, so, and so this is a slide. This is not what I came to talk about, but I thought this was an interesting slide. Most of this stuff came from Donald Bateman. Donald shared these photos with me. I don't know where he got all these, but you all probably seen them. You may have seen them all. There may be somebody here who's seen them all. But this is the old hotel, 3-story building right down the railroad track down there about where Mitchell's is. And now I remember the old depot that sat there in that side track that was there, but by the time I came along, this hotel had been relocated, and Lexington had been moved twice. The last time it was moved from over, probably over there where Paul's Pizza was, I think, was the last place it moved from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they move it to Bill Mitchum's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so,
Let me help you get that picture bigger. Look up there where it says from beginning. No, we don't make it. No, next one over to the left. From beginning, hit that, yeah, there. Now that'll make it bigger.
oh,
So you go back.
so Donald solved our problem, man. Okay, so let me go back.
Go back.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, no, that's more like, that'll help. So anyway, that's the old hotel. And Erin was quite a big town back then. So anyway, talking about going through your photos, we were going through my mother's things and found some of my grandmother's photos and things, old photos. My grandmother was the owner, one of the owners and editor of the Houston County Times, became Houston Stewart County Times while they owned it. And they moved here some somewhere back right before the Depression, because my granddaddy got his license to practice law in 1929. He started practicing law here in Erin. What a time to start a law practice. She said that he kept them alive on sweet potatoes and chicken that people pay him in. Like I said, pretty good pay because they all live. But anyway, I was looking at this, and first thing I was looking at some people. I mean, trying to pick out some people, and I picked out a couple of people I thought I knew. But that's not the subject of this. The subject of this is I saw this building back here in the back.
You recognize it?
Have y'all ever seen it?
Not already.
Is my pointer working? My pointer's not
There
working.
it is. It's there if you just move it. Oh, that's
But it don't work.
Mm.
Okay. I'm sorry, well, had to go with the flow here. The building back there in the upper left, would be that building. On the far left would be the side of Archie's building. And this building on the right would be where the Taekwondo thing is. And where that two-story building is, that wasn't there during my lifetime. I've never seen that, and that surprised me. So I got interested and started trying to find out, and I asked Mr. Webb about it. And he said he thought that it was the Collier building and it burned down. And so anyway, I got to looking, and it's I found this old deed, and it's in your all stuff there, but it's a deed from J.M. Spencer and wife to J.G. No, wait a minute. I can't read it. Can't read it on either one of them. Well, anyway, there's a deed there between the people that own the two properties, and Collier that owned that two-story building was selling that lot in front of it there where the flower shop is now, and where the Shamrock Shenanigans was. That was a vacant lot shown on here, and this thing is way too sensitive. So anyway, the deed shows that he kept a 4-foot alley between those two buildings there, between Archie's building and Collier's building, and it had to be, couldn't be roofed and all that. They since roofed it, I'm sure, but that alley, if you go over there and look at the wall over there, the way I found out that this is the right deed, I went over there and looked at the wall on the street, the back of Archie's there, and you can see that 4 foot is pricked up. And then I found out since then, that's where Archie had his bathroom, wasn't it, Booker? Yep. Yeah. So that identified it, that the building. Okay, and then Donald gave me some of this 9 Finley stuff, and that's what all this is. This one right here, I can point it up there. There's a way I can point that somewhere. On the map you got, if y'all will look, you got 9Z there. So Ms. 9 identified that, and she says it was that Edgar Bateman built the present building. That's where the flower shop is, the front of it, front of the flower shop. The back of it is the old building there, the bottom floor of that old building. And she said that Edgar Bateman removed the upper story off the building. I thought it burned down. Webb did too, but no, it didn't burn down. If it burned, only the top burned, because she said they just removed the top of it. So I thought that was interesting. So, that explains what that building is. Now, let me show you something else that came up in all this. There's a picture of you see the old building is still there. Right there's that old building, the top of it. There's the front of where the flower shop is now. You can see it's still there. And this was made. And then Donald gave me these photos. This one is, okay, that's the back of Mitchell's. There's the drugstore, Mitch, the old original. And then there's this building right next to it that was a Bugger hardware store. It says Erin Bottling Company. I'll previously said, let me get the next picture. Whoops. Okay, there it is. Erin Bottling Works. So I never knew we had a bottling company here in Erin. And they tell me now that at the Rotary auction, that they auctioned off Coke bottle, a Coke bottle that had Erin, Tennessee on the bottom of it. Some of us that are old enough to remember on this little Coke bottle, they always had the name of the town on there. When I worked over at the funeral home, they had a little old Coke machine over there that IRL would always put the Coke bottles back in, but we didn't gamble now. We played this game that everybody pull a Coke out, and they kept a box of dimes up there, so you could use their dimes and put them back in there, because you didn't get to keep the Coke, but you got to see what yours was when you played far away. So I never saw an Erin bottle. I saw a lot of other places, but every place had a bottle. So there was, and that doesn't say Coca-Cola bottling company. So I looked on the stuff that Nina had, and now on one of the maps that you've got, it says, the one that says Strawberry Alley and Front Street on this map, she's got on here Coca-Cola company. So according to Nina, that was a Coca-Cola company. I thought that was interesting. Anybody know that? Anybody know where that was? Some of you have probably seen this photo. Mitch, had you ever seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
Daddy had told me that in that building next to the drugstore, that somebody used to show movies in that building. I don't know, I don't think they had a theater there, but somebody
was the
showed.
bottling company, was it on the top floor, or was that just where they put their name up there? Was it maybe on the bottom floor?
I think it was the whole building.
Okay.
Wasn't that Dr. Atkinson's office there on the right, on the corner of the top building?
Let's see. Nana doesn't have anything about that on here, but Dr. Atkinson. He was on the next block up there, according to her.
Oh,
Above Strawberry Alley on the other side. Or, no, maybe he was even further up than that. He's up there by the Players building. He was where Dr. Atkins had his place up there near where the old city hall was.
yeah.
And then he built that little building up there in front of the Methodist church. That was his office. Yeah, I remember when he was there, but he was down below where the city hall is, in that building somewhere. And the city hall was built, it was an alley, and they just bricked up each end of it, put a roof over it, and made a building out of it. That's what the city hall was. They used the city money wisely back then. So I'm just gonna go through these slides.
Sid, can I ask a
Yes,
question?
you can. Yeah, please do.
The name that was on the building that J.B. Bunnell,
Yeah,
do you know anything about that?
Benell. Yeah.
Those first set of pictures, it
Now,
was
there's some
across the
stuff,
top.
that would be next to this, that was J.B. Bennell Dry Goods and Brigham.
You know, I graduated from law school over a girl from Clarksville, and her name was Phyllis Benell, and
Yeah,
she was
judge.
elected 3 times judge
Yeah.
in Memphis, just retired.
Yeah,
And I just wonder if that's the same family.
it is, it was her family.
And I always understood that she and I were somehow distant cousins.
She, when I met her in, I never didn't know her, I heard of her all my life, because my granddad was in an office up there with Miss Benell. And when I ran into her at a judges conference in Memphis, and we got talking, she said, you know, we're cousins. And I said, I don't know about that, so she called me cousin too. One of us, I'm sure is, but.
They lived up there, Hill Street and Main Street, that empty lot that is next to Presbyterian Church. There was a house there, and that's where the Benells.
Yeah,
It's
Liz that worked for your dad
Mm-hmm.
next door, furniture company. Yeah, yeah, that's the same one. So, let's see, next slide. It's gonna work like that. There's the old courthouse, all of you seen that. And they're all moving snow off. In fact, we had snow back then, that's pretty good snow, I don't know how deep that was. But this, now I remember a little bit about this is right down on Main Street between the stoplights. There was this service station down there, and when I remember, a man named Fat Locker was the attendant there, and but I thought it was a gulf.
You can see the theater in the distance there on the left.
Yeah, the old theater
Mhm.
building. That,
You just pull over
not
and
gonna work, so. Right there would be the old Erin
That's the old theater, yeah.
Yep.
And I guess you just pulled over and got gas.
Yeah, but I don't remember, I remember it going in, that
Oh,
it was back in there, so I don't know if they tore some of this down, or if it's back in there. Miss Nina has that on her plat of that in your handouts somewhere. And, so that's one of those things. So, that's looking up Spring Street under the light. And, okay, right there's where the Regions Bank is. And there, I remember there was a house there. I remember when they tore that down, moved the bank over there, and the Christiansons lived right there. That was, Lucille Christianson lived in that house. Her father, I think, was Nels Christianson. And that's where she was, and she was the wife of Frank Clement, the governor. And a little bit of trivia, the chef at the, for the governor's mansion, when Frank Clement was governor, was a little man that was a friend of my dad that lived up Spring Street, and Howard Carter. And he, Kent, you may remember him, Miss Irene Carter and Dorothy were his sisters, but he lived up there. He was the chef at the governor's mansion.
See, my great-grandmother lived in that house, same one you're talking about, Christensen.
Okay.
And that's where she died in that house.
And she was she a Christianson?
No, she was a Mitchell.
She was Mitchell, okay.
She was in Carlisle's. My grandfather's mother, I think.
I remember the old house. It's a shame they tore all those down, isn't it?
That was a beautiful
the yard had a lily pond that I fell in one day. And Lucille was there, and she walked me back home, and we just walked across the street and through the garage that was open at that time, and just carried me up Hill Street to put some dry clothes on.
I understand that there was a rock wall around their house, and when they tore it down,
There was.
the rock, part of the rock wall, or maybe all of it, was saved by the city of Erin, and they've got it stored somewhere, because they knew it was historic. I've asked Angie about it, she says they've got it stored
I
somewhere.
think I stole one of the rocks.
Did you?
I have one.
Bill Steve was trying to buy that when they were tearing down. I don't know if he bought some of it or not, but they were real big old stones that had steps there.
The house up there where Regis is, when we interviewed Billy Ray Clayton, he said some of his kinfolk lived in that house on the corner. The White House in front of
Okay.
Christensen's house.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, was it, their name, last name may have been Simmons, or, but I remember Billy Ray saying it was some kin to his.
Front door on that house, Judy Black ended up with that door, and I think it's on a door to her house. It's recycled, but I think that's where they came from, the Christian house. That's Judy right there.
Well, maybe part of it's been preserved then. And here's, this is Miss Nina's map. You know, I don't know anything particular about this society, except I remember all these buildings that up there, that Walnut Street, at the top of it is, up there at the church, at the Erin Methodist Church, right across the street.
Now, in the archives, we have the door, speaking of doors, we have the door that went to that post office there on the corner.
Oh, okay.
And it says, it's glass and wood, and it says Erin Post Office on it. And just soon after we got it, we weren't 100% sure it was legitimate, and Frank Cherry came into the archives, he was 90, Frank was 99, it was him or, who was it? Came in, saw the door and said, yep, that's the door. He was able to say that, yep, that's the door. So we still have it.
How long do you want me to do this? I can quit it anytime or I can, or I can, okay, I'll keep going as long as y'all want to tell you what I know about all this. Okay, then Erin had a new car dealer right there. Some of y'all remember that Mr. Marable had sold new cars there. Now, Nina had on here, on some of this, it was a Ford dealer, but I remember it being a Chevrolet dealer. I think Miss Marable that delivered the newspaper drove a Chevrolet, so I think maybe it changed at some time. But I do remember there was, that building's still up there where Gill's Furniture was, and there were double doors in that building, big old double doors. My dad, one of his many jobs, he always had more than one job. And his one job was he would drive the bus, the public bus, transportation, Western Kentucky Stages bus, from Erin to Clarksville every day. He'd get off up there and then he'd walk down to Lloyd's printing company, and he was a printer. And when he got through, he'd go back and he'd get on the bus and drive back to Erin and pick up all the people that went to Clarksville to work. A lot of people rode that bus every day to go to work. And he'd drop them off on the way and he'd bring them back. But I remember him parking that old bus in there, and they got two of those big old buses in there. And they just barely go through that door, and I don't know how he did it, but they drove those big old buses in there. And he'd leave at 4:30 or 5:30 every morning. I don't know, I think he had the second bus. I think he had the 5:30 bus, but they'd get up awfully early.
When your dad would get up in the snow, he would call my dad, and the phone would ring at the house. Of course, it was just one phone at the house, but he would call Daddy and tell him that it snowed. And that's when Daddy would start going out to check, decide whether to call school or not. But it was his dad that would let him.
Yeah, he would have had to been one of the first ones up.
The first one's up, he called my dad and said, Becky, you need to go check the roads. You know, and that's when my dad would go out, and he'd go out and drive for a little while and come back. But I love to hear that phone ring.
Oh,
That was a good sign.
yeah. My mother did too. She loved snow days. She talked forever and ever too.
Do you remember him calling?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Because the phone was in my bedroom. Ring, ring, ring. The city hall, the old city hall building, that's Sycamore Alley. And you see there's an alley and it went in behind where the bank is over there, behind the funeral home and on over behind the telephone company. I guess I went up through there probably maybe all the way up to Vernon Wright's house up there. So that was the alley. And then there's, I didn't know there was a pool room there. Oh, there's more pool rooms over here. You know, that was a popular sport, so. And there was a cafe, Price's Cafe, never knew that. And J.W. Carey.
Was that cafe upstairs or downstairs?
That cafe, as far as I know, they only had one floor there.
One floor.
Yeah, on those buildings up this, on that block. And this is a cafe, and then here's J.W. Carey Grocery Company. I didn't know that. When I was growing up, that was Billy Lynn Skelton's grocery store.
Yeah.
And it was the same size, basically, as Plegger's. You know, they were both the same size. My mother always shopped at Plegger's, though. She liked the way the stuff was put out there, you know, better. It was just a better store. And there's Erin Bank. And Erin Bank, right there. That was vacant lot behind it. And that's where the bank was until the building went over where Regions is now. And I can't read that.
Did the bank become City Hall?
Yeah, no. City Hall is that alley right there.
Okay.
And it's still got, it was just built in there, and the bank was down below it, down toward the stoplight.
It's the first building I ever went into had air conditioning, here in Bank.
It's nice in there, wasn't it?
Really?
They were nice.
Dad never would endorse the checks till he went in there, so he could stay in, go in there and stay about 5 minutes. But that's the first air conditioner I can ever remember was in that Aaron Bank.
They were pretty prosperous, I'd say, still are. And so anyway, then the post office was there on the corner, as we already talked about, and then Plegger's grocery store was right there on the other corner. And that's where we always shopped at. There was a black pole, metal pole on that corner right there. And some of y'all older people remember if you walked up to that pole and touched it, it'd shock you. And I don't know what wires were running through there, but you know, it was kind of, think back, you know, that might have been pretty dangerous, but it would shock you. So,
So think of how good a business it was for Cleggerns to have the post, everybody went to the post office and they had, I think you could almost walk out of the post office into the grocery store.
I think you could. I think you went on in Plegger's from the, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Mr. Ray was a good businessman. So I thought that that's where Clegger's started. It was Clegger and Sons. And it turns out that Mr. Ray Clegger, that would have been Tim and Brian's granddaddy, was the son. So
His name was
His
Will
father was
Clegger.
Will
the
Clegger.
Clegger was,
Yeah, was Ray Clegger's daddy.
Yep.
And a
you look
funny
on-
story that Billy Ray told me, because I was doing some of his family history before he passed away. Some of you may know this, but the original name is Clegg Horn, Horn. And I asked him, I said, how come it became Cleghorn? He says, well, his grandfather, William Cleghorn, had ordered stationery, and it came in misspelled. And he was such a penny pincher that he just kept it, and that's how the name changed.
Okay, we'll switch blocks now because this has come up. Now, this is the block we're on, and, let me get my little, this is where we're at, right here. It was an old tobacco farm, tobacco warehouse, and it's a huge one. I've got a photograph of it on here. It was a huge tobacco warehouse. I don't know, what did they do with the tobacco? Anybody know? They loaded it on the train, I guess, and hauled it off. As far as I know, that's what happened to it. And then it became, in World War II, was making a huge shirt factory. I know that because my mother worked there during the war. And then, later on, it became Culver Shoe Company, and they made Culver Cub shoes. And I could see they had a big Culver light on the outside, big sign. And we could see that all the way from our house. I lived up on the hill behind the Roby house right up there. We could go up to Schoolhouse Hill there. We could see that sign over there. I remember. I thought, boy, this is a big town. Was a lot bigger than it is now, I guess. But, you know, and so that's what City Hall is now. And there's Strawberry Alley. Strawberry Alley extended all the way through there. And now the city's built over it, and got those steps out there. And there's an Upland store. You see some of y'all skin folks? I know that some of your kids are those Upland. I never did know that to be Upland store. I remember Josh Littleton's Clingers was in the basement right there. Here in the Clingers before they built the new building over there. Towards the church.
Wasn't in the 50s and 60s, wasn't there another pool hall right there?
That was in the 60s.
Yeah.
The pool hall
We
right
had a lot
there.
of pool halls down there.
Yeah, I remember it well. I was in high school with it, so, yeah. So, there was a pool hall there, and you can't see it here, but the next building up was Frank Ray Stone's Cafe, they called it, and I don't know if they
The one
put anything
between
there or
them,
not, but
the
they sold a lot
building
of beer.
between those two was the library.
The library, that's right, between them, yeah, it's got about it, that they tore down, yeah. And then there was Frank Ray Stone's, and then Bill Knox, right? Bill Knox Rockville, isn't that right?
Wonder what happened to that Culver shoe sign, 'cause I remember that.
I don't know,
Pretty good size sign.
I don't know.
We have in the
Nice sign, wasn't it?
We have in the archives, two statues that have been donated, donated the same week by two different people, and it's of the Culver Cub.
Yeah.
And they told me that these statues were inside the factory. As the employees would come in, there was like a turnstile or something, and these statues were on either side. And so they were donated to us. And I also have a shoe box that says Culver Shoes, Erin, Tennessee. Now, what I'm looking for is a pair of shoes to go with the shoe box.
I have a pair of
Hard to come by.
shoes.
You
They
do?
were the first shoes that Doug wore when he started
Oh,
working.
neat. No, I need a pair of shoes for the archive.
Well, you have to talk to Miss Ann about that. So, coming on down the block, there's an alley right there, it's still there, there's an alley up in there between the buildings, between Paul's and City Hall, and then the next one, then that next little office right there, I don't even know what's there right now. But, that was my grandmother owned the bottom floor of that. That's where she had the Stuart Houston Times. And when she sold out to Charlotte Company that owned the Leaf Chronicle, and they owned that thereafter. And anyway, they did printing there. My dad started printing when he started setting type when he was 9 years old. And the paper, and then all these other little offices. Mr. Durham McKinnon had an office there. He owned one of those little places in there. They just don't, it was a, I guess that was the first condo in Houston County. You know, that was a modern thing, a condo. Well, they had them back then because these bottom floors were owned by different people. Those first three there at least were owned by different people. But the top floor was owned by Ann Hager's dad, just Bill Smith. Owned all that top floor of this next building over there. And upstairs there was the phone company, wasn't it, Ann? Because I remember when y'all sold it, that we went upstairs and there was all this phone equipment up there. We still have that, do you?
Phone company's on first floor.
Was it on the first floor?
Yes.
Okay.
Who was the lady that did the program that she worked there? Was it Rusty Simpson's
I don't remember.
sister?
But I do have a photograph on the archive showing the phone company on the first floor.
So, Mr. Smith, he had furniture up there that I remember things.
There in that, there was a two-story. Furniture was downstairs and upstairs was where the bicycles and tricycles were that we always had to try out to make sure they were. So,
When the shoe factory burnt down, we come down to town and we had to go in
Yes.
his store and start taking furniture out and putting it on the square.
that was.
But they
Yeah,
thought the whole lot was gonna burn.
Beautiful front marble top kind of thing.
It was a scary day.
Yeah.
And he had I remember when Ann and them, they had the auction, they made me the administrator. So we had an auction and got Buddy Gill and I don't know, maybe Cass Rye to have the auction. But one of the things they had was the post office safe, and it was a big upright safe that opened like this. And it was a huge safe, but anyway, the one person that bought it was Mel Tillis. And there was also a brand new, out of the box, but never been sold, combination wood and electric cook stove that went for a big price, and Mel Tillis bought that too. He had some old boys come down. I don't know how, I thought, well, how are they gonna move that big old safe? We couldn't even roll it. And he had two old boys show up with a flatbed truck. They rolled it out and leaned it up against there and picked the bottom up and shoved it on the truck. And then put that wood electric stove on there and hauled it to his new house up there at Pleasant View. And wasn't long after that, her house burned down.
So it was a long house.
Beautiful log house, wasn't it? And all that stuff
My
burned
dad,
down.
I went there, my dad bought a birdhouse.
Oh, did
Mel Tillis.
Did you ever see the safe or the wood stove or anything?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
He had them haul it back up there.
Mel said the only problem with that dog was it stuttered.
Except when he sang, right? So, anyway, they had all those things, and that's where the restaurant is now. And right in there was Charlotte Kent's barber shop. I remember Miss Nina had that somebody else's barber shop, but I remember Charlotte Kent's barber shop. Go in there and you could get a flat cloth and a 6-cent Dr. Pepper out of the machine. You put a nickel and a penny in the machine and got a Dr. Pepper. Everywhere else they went from a nickel to a dime, but he went to 6 cents. And then the rest of that is where our building is. That was Dossie Marable's, she called it a variety store. It was I guess it was a variety store. They had everything in the world in there. When it goes from street to street, and we're built on every bit of it. But the old building was bought by Mr. Nave, and
Where was the dentist's office there? It was across the street from you, wasn't
another dentist, there was a dentist right here, Dr. Johnson's dentist, y'all may remember him,
Spencer was right behind the Western Auto.
yeah, that was, this one, I thought we looked at, that was a dentist office I never knew about, but that was Dr. Johnson's dentist office, and, he was, his son was my uncle, married my aunt.
There was a dentist office in the second story over what used to be Erin now Mitchell's.
Oh, so there was another dentist office down there. And then Dr. Spencer had one
That's the one I would have went to.
at the end, it would have been at the back end of Archie's building. And, I remember going in there and getting a lot of teeth filled. Back then, we didn't have fluoride, and you had to feel about every tooth in my head.
Same experience, I got, I don't know how many teeth, back then, they didn't have any fluoride.
Right.
And,
That's what we did after school, we'd go down there to get our teeth filled.
I would catch the school bus down there and get off by myself and get off and go in and go to the dentist.
I had to be taken, so.
I was aware.
You're a lot braver than I was. But that same, if you look at it now, you can see where the doors were and everything. That was Judge Spencer's law office. They built that for his law office. And it's mentioned in this deed that I was trying to show there when they, the Spencers and whoever owned the J.G. Collier building entered into that contract. But that was probably Judge Spencer's daddy's law office. And because Judge Spencer practiced for several years, but not long before he went on the bench. He went on the bench as a young man, I think. Probably when Frank Clement was governor, I think. You may remember, Dan, but
I just remember the story.
yeah, that was a nice office.
Judge Spencer was so excited about the governor appointed him, and he went home to tell his wife about, Mr. Ned, about being appointed. And when he came through the door, she yelled at him and said, "Go carry the trash out." That's the first thing she said to him. She said, before he could get out, he was appointed judge. She said, go carry the trash out before you come on in.
He may have been a judge, but she's still ruling the roost. So, I got one thing that some of y'all older ones may know, like Ken probably knows, but there was a store built, there was a grocery store down toward, after you go past the Nazarene Church, down the hill on the left before you get to the vet's office. Powell's store, that's what I remember. And it was, it'd been built by Mr. Stone, and he had sold it. I looked back and I saw the deed where he sold it, but he owned the waterworks down there. He started the waterworks, and that spring that came out under that store was a Graham spring, and it still runs out of there like a, big old fire hydrant every day. But what I remember about that was unusual was that there was a skating rink. He built a concrete skating rink.
I've got receipts, I got receipts where he was purchasing roller skates that he rented at the skating rink.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna go down there someday in the winter and look at that, because the remnants of it, I bet you are still back there.
Could be.
And I wanna take some pictures of it, because I thought that was really interesting, but because that wasn't there when I was a kid. It was, it'd been done a long time before I grew up, because there wasn't any roller rink down there. There was still a grocery store. There wasn't any roller rink down there. They would have thought of a roller rink outside anyway, wouldn't you? Skated inside.
It's amazing how many different grocery stores there were around the square. You think of Claiborne, how many you've already called out?
Oh, there's a bunch on here that I haven't even run into, but it'd be interesting to do something on those sometime, to count those and see how many, because then the Powells, I think when the road got widened, they took that store building, and the state did, and the Powells built a new grocery store over right across the street from the Baptist Church, I think, didn't they?
Yes, that was right beside where we live.
Okay. So that was,
It's in their backyard.
that was a grocery store there too.
Do you remember the house behind Miss Adams? It was right across from Roland Roby. It was a little, he had jukeboxes and games in there he repaired. I think it was.
Oh, that was
Stone.
Mr. Stone's,
Stone?
that was Leon Stone's.
Leon?
Yeah, they called him Kilowatt.
Yeah.
And he printed, my dad went down there and printed for him at night when he come back from the other two jobs.
He used to print all the ballots for the elections. I got receipts for he printed all the ballots for the elections.
Yeah,
So you remember that?
oh, yeah.
Because when we first got married, that's the first place we lived.
In that building.
Yeah, and then we moved up to the second house. behind.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah, I do remember now that you lived there. But, yeah, that was an interesting building. He had all that, all his jukeboxes and pinball machines and,
There was numbers and stuff like that all through that house, you know, left, I guess.
yeah, and Ernest Lewis was the man that worked on it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And, he'd let us come over there and watch him, and if we ever had to make anything, we got Ernest to help. But he could do anything. Then he moved to Parrish and opened his own place and took all the pinball machines and all that. So, I'm about like Forrest Gump, that's about all I know about that. Unless anybody has any questions, I can answer, but thank you for letting me come, it's been enjoyable.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Hope to see you next month in June at the Stewart County Historical Society. The July program is kind of up in the air right now. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do. It says, America 250. I think the Fair Board is putting something together, so we'll see on that. We do have some, probably August, September, October, maybe open. If any of you have a program you'd like to present, we'd love to have you. And we'll adjourn and see you next month. Thank you.